Okay, Sherry.
Aloha, I'm Sherry Cummings from the island of Kauai also. And then I just want to first, aloha, I see on here, Sybil. I know you remember me from the AHA on Kauai, and then Kipukai is also here on the site also. In my capacity, I was actually the Native Hawaiian Rights Director under the Shah some years ago. And I just wanted to know first if the Shah still has a director for Native Hawaiian rights, because to me, I think this should be worked in conjunction with the Shah, you know, because of the relationship that we have with the federal government. Yeah. Because if we really look at it, and some people touched on it, which is the truth, this is a real suppression of our cultural rights and the right to practice, and that's the way we live. So to go ahead and put all this kind of different type of suppression type regulations upon how we gather, that is to me genocide, um, because of how we lived. And Palala, you touched on it, Mr. Akaka, of how we gather. Yeah, because it was our responsibility. Everybody from Opio to Kupuna had responsibility. So we never did go down and rape the place and stuff like that, but we knew how to gather, what to gather, when to gather, because of the Konohiki system. And it's important to me because my kupuna, Huluhulu Kailimanu, he was actually a Konohiki of the Halelea district on my island of Kauai, and had hurt me that they created something down there. And when you talk about when we go to the different places like that, the generations today, they don't know of how we pilina the place. I might live on one other side of the island, but I'm very connected to that North Shore. So this kind of rules and stuff, it is just another divide in our people and stuff like that. So I did hear the lady address the issue regarding the community subsistence management. But you know what I say to that too, and I learned this the hard way with Robin. And I'm going off the subject just a little bit, yeah. But if the people don't know the laws that are out there that protect us, because there are laws from Kauikeoli III, he codified the rules, and they can look them up. That got transferred when we became a state, and it was put in the revised statutes. Now in 19, I believe was 78, Article 12 had just reinforced what he said. So we do have those rights. So anything that we do, and it's in there. So anything that we do to compromise this to just, satisfy the few, that's a suppression in itself. And really, I believe this should be something that should be taken statewide, and every moku should be responsible for their own way. And it's us, if we go come Molokai, because I was a canoe paddler also. And we did feel eha for the people of the land over there, because they had some serious pilikia. We Kanaka, we know how to manage and do protocol. But you had the other ones, like how he said, the few, they make it pilau for the rest of us. That's why there's this, up in the air regarding Molokai and posting and things of that nature. I don't do that anymore, but I was a big part of that once upon a time. So what we need is we need to educate, because if we don't educate them, and I can be honest and say that, there's so much laws that if we don't talk about the laws and exercise the laws, they're going to keep doing this to us. Because as a beneficiary, Kipukai knows, I brought up the laws regarding water rights, water reservation rights for our beneficiaries of the trust. Alan Murakami and myself made a PowerPoint presentation, 20 minutes, not to be biased, but to turn around and talk about just pure law, from federal law to statehood act to county laws to water use development plans that had to be mandatory. So they can go ahead and decide after that how much water reservation rights for the beneficiaries of the trust. Now, they blew their mind because they had no idea. They had absolutely no idea that it was a condition of statehood for us to exist. So the Rehabilitation Act of 1920, to me, that you guys are a part of right now, the SHA, you guys should push this in regards to native gathering rights, because it is part of the Rehabilitation Act. And I really feel that there needs to be this kumbawa between the SHA, the associations under the SHA, and this organization that is trying to be pa'a with the laws that protect us to gather. So that is just my mana'o. And it is very sad, that we're in this situation. But I can tell you, if they don't know the law, they're going to keep doing what they do. And we got to talk about it. We really have to talk about it. And then I'm going to go talk to Rolina and Kipukai after this. Kipukai knows about it. And I'm going to take it into the communities, because I'm having somebody to come down from 6 Nations who does serious film work. And I think the way that we got to do this is we got to do film and we got to do documentaries, so nobody can change our stories, because got to come from the Kanaka and from the Kanaka's lens, nobody else, because we're federally protected. State no more choice. They mandated to do this because it is a condition of the act. It's not something that's made up. It's in the law. But they're not going to dig for final. It's us to just talk about it. Now we get the Godfather, Department of Interior, that supports us. The Rehabilitation Act of 1920, how we exist, which the Shah is actually fighting for. So I just say that, we got to work in conjunction and then come up with something that can be powerful for us as a people regarding our rights to practice for sustainable, for eating, for medicinal purposes, and whatever, religious purpose. So that's all my manao to that. But thank you so much.
Mahalo, Sister Sherry. This is Sybil. I can speak to her questions about the Shaw. And I would like to make mention that our Shaw chair is here tonight, Kipukai Kuali'i. So mahalo for joining in and listening. And yes, we can convene and as an put in our executive board meeting, and then we can kuka about it. But we have October. We are having a Shaw conference in October. So I hope I get to see you, Sherry. So mahalo for being here.
Yeah,
Okay.
no problem.
Thank you, Sherry.
You're welcome, Palala.
Okay. We like Auntie Kanani. You go next, Jacob. Jacob, wait for Auntie Kanani. She was holding her hand for so long. Go ahead, Auntie. You still okay? Good.
Okay. I would like to mention that there has been many pieces and sharing regarding the coral decline is due to pollution of chemicals and effluent in the ocean, not because we who go and fish for our families who do not take more than we need. The coral decline is not because of the fishes that supposedly they think is disappearing because we're overfishing. That is totally wrong. Perhaps in your sharing, you can, Godfrey, you can zero in on that. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Auntie. Yes, so the scientific theory that they have is that, and this it's true that due to warm weather, certain times we get warm weather, yeah, that the coral gets bleached. So when the coral gets bleached, the coral die. And so when the herbivorous fish or the fish that eat limu, they go and they stimulate, when they eat the limu, they encourage the growth of coral. So that's true too. But the problem is they try to make restrictions and regulations on fishermen when really we have a very small impact compared to all what we talked about, the other predator fish that eat that. Furthermore, let's say, for example, for argument's sake, let's say they're right. Okay, they're going to restrict all the fishermen from fishing, stop all the families from eating that fish, change our entire culture. So bring back the reef. So let's say, okay, the corals, they're coming back now. Only going to take one warm weather day for bleach, or what will come back. So to me, it's like you cannot stop nature, you know. It's like trying to tell me that you're gonna drop on bomb to try and stop the lava flow. That's not gonna happen. And relating to, I just wanted to address the issue about um taking too much, because sometimes we often hear, what about the guys taking too much? You know that traditionally never had bag limits. Hawaiians never had bag limits. You know why? Because it takes so much energy just to catch the fish. By the time you catching just enough for what you eat, you like go home already. You cold, you tired, you know. So if I'm gonna spend extra energy for catch some more fish, that's because in my mind I'm gonna catch for my neighbor, I'm gonna catch for my kupuna, I'm gonna catch for this and that, and then that's it. I'm done already. So besides the ocean is sustainable, subsistence fishermen, they do not overfish. They don't. They just don't. Even though people's coming up and saying these guys raking, but how do you know they're not catching for a luau? Most likely they're catching for a luau or something to that extent. They're not going to spend all that gas and time and money to catch more than what they need. That's not going to happen. Okay. Thank you, Auntie Kanani. Jacob.
Hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. This is Jacob Akaka from Kauai. And I get my son right here, Kupuna, 13 years old, moved to Waimea Canyon. And he came home and shared me something from, last was that? And what he is telling me? That's what they said.
Yeah, because the fish, the uhu, they eat the coral and the coral can grow.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
so-
couldn't hear good. Can you say that one more time? Couldn't hear what he said.
The uhus can they don't like people eat the uhus and stuff like that because uhus eat the algae of the coral, so the coral can grow.
So anyways, we living in Kauai, so much monk seals, it's multiplying. So many monk seals all on the island, north shore, west side, everywhere. On the base, they protect the monk seals too. Even the volunteers protecting the monk seals. And when the tourists come take pictures, just like they're telling them lies, like the monk seal was here. But these mammals, having one Hawaiian name and Hawaiian monk seals, Hawaiian humpback whales, they're not natives to me. But my biggest concern is the killer whales. Their dessert is the monk seals. So I think that's an Hawaiian killer whales in the future. But they're not from here. So that's what I see every day. Southside monk seals on the beach. When they're on that beach, oh, the day is so big. So much fish. Bring the fishermen. So I get one older daughter that just graduated from Waimea High School. She had shared with me saying that the humpback whales, they wouldn't eat shrimp. I said, oh, no. They eat tiny fish, tunas, they eat akuris, they eat everything. They blame the fishermen, the mammals. So that's what I want to share with you.
Thank you, Jacob. Okay. So I just wanna, maybe we'll take two more, and then we're gonna wrap it up. But I just want to give a shout out to our Alaskan Native Americans who help keep the balance by hunting whales and seals. Mahalo. Okay. Two more. Uy, you can do the last
So
one.
So actually, there's nobody currently raising their hand virtually,
Auntie Mary
but it
Ann.
looks like Gary
Okay.
Lou. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Mary Ann and Gary Lou.
Okay. Okay, so Mary Ann first and then Gary Lou. I didn't see who
Yep.
went first.
Yep. Auntie
Okay,
Mary.
Auntie Mary Ann and then Uncle Gary Lou, okay? And just so you guys know, I know that this meeting hasn't been too long or anything, but I'm not trying to limit anybody's mana'o because I love hearing everybody's mana'o. Just let's be mindful of everybody's time. Mahalo, everybody. Auntie Marianne, you can talk. I cannot hear you if you're talking.
I think her screen got frozen. Let's do Gary Lou and then wait.
When Auntie come back on, then she can, yeah.
That look like
Uncle
she.
Gary,
The Auntie Mary. You can unmute your. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. You both can hear me.
Kind of broken, little bit broken, but go ahead. We can hear.
Yeah. Sorry, I chiming in from Hana. And my question for you, Godfrey, is there's so much regulations out there. It's hard to know which one to follow. Like BLNR, they came up with the state regs. And in that booklet, July 2022, it's tailored to islands. Then you got the SFA, and then you got other nonprofits now that's coming up with their own management plan. And my question to you in regards to your association is Native Hawaiian gathering rights. Are you saying that's for Native Hawaiians only? They got to get the cocoa?
Oh, good question. Good question. Thank you for sharing that. No, it's not limited to race because this is a cultural practice. We do not limit this to only those with the cocoa. It's with all races. If they practicing our culture, they have a right. It's like trying to tell the people that only the Kanaka can speak Hawaiian and only the Kanaka can dance hula. This is on cultural practice. There's so many non-Kanaka that grew up in this lifestyle of harvesting from the ocean and also from the land, and they've been teaching their children through generations, and so that's part of our perpetuation of our culture. Yeah. So the answer is no. It's not limited to only those with the cocoa, although perhaps we might run into issues when it comes to working with within the law, but we will fight for non-Kanaka to participate in this cultural practice. Thank you. Mahalo for tuning in from Hana. Go ahead, Brother Gary.
Taikina, mahalo nui loa. Thank you very much for what you're doing, brother. You're on the right path. Number one, the monks here are not native. Way back when I was young, holo with Papa them, there was no monks here, plenty fish. Today, who's stealing all the fish? Not the fishermen. Let's be real. It's the monks here that's stealing them. We don't need foreigners to come from the outside to tell us how to live when we was living for generations on this gathering, right? Bauka Makai. So for me, what Auntie was saying about the law, 1920, yes, she's very right. And if she get on board, everybody go that way, we're not going to get pilikia. Hawaiians, we got to stay Hawaiian and we got to stay educated. That's the only way we can do this. Be educated and just come as one, everybody. Mahalo plenty, brother. You're doing good. Mahalo ke akua.
Mahalo, Gary. Mary from Hana, you had anything else? You didn't cut out. You didn't cut out at that time.
No, I mean, I'm trying to, understand what you're trying to push to make it clear with me. I've sat on other meetings, and a lot of times the meetings with the fishermen, not professional. So it's hard to get the message when people don't hold their bearings, to get the message across.
Can I share something?
Go ahead, Uli.
Thank you, Auntie Mary, for coming on and sharing your manao. And I think that's one of the reasons why we started Native Hawaiian Gathering Rights Association. Our push was to have the voices kind of be gathered together to share out, I guess in a way that, because fishermen are angry, they're saddened by all of these things, the eha that's happening. And so a lot of times it was frustrating going to meetings, not being heard. So we created Native Hawaiian Gathering Rights, and we want it to be actually anybody, especially in Hawaii, but anybody that is like-minded and want to support fishermen sustaining themselves is who we're going for. Now, when you asked about like, oh, okay, what, who should we follow? What management plan? We are against most management plans, mostly the ones that are led and directed by the state entities or county entities, because they're trying to control and regulate rather than like our solutions were more proactive in creating healthier habitat for the fish we eat. Yeah. So in that sense, yeah, a lot of our kupuna, a lot of our fishermen, they come and they're real upset. So yeah, we've come to a lot of meetings where they're really, really angry. But I think ever since we've done our Native Hawaiian Gathering Rights, it's really improved. We have had less emotional outbursts, but we still come really passionate, because this is like, affecting generations. It's affecting our livelihood, or it's affecting our food, because at least on Molokai, everything expensive. So our ocean and our land is where we get a lot of our food. And so I know that's how Hana is too, because even though you're on Maui and you can just drive to Costco, it's still far. So you better, you get plenty stuff over there, and you guys do a lot of cultural things. And the management plans that are being proposed, most of them are very restrictive to fishermen and not really proactive in creating healthier habitats and minimizing other factors besides fishermen, if that makes sense. I hope that answered your question.
Mahalo.
Mahalo. Okay, we get two more. Let's have Kalihua first, and then Sherry. Maybe if that's it, we will have Sherry be the last to give her questions and comments. Go ahead, Kalihua.
Aloha, I'm Kalehua Sprout Agostero from Molokai, and I'm actually part of the Native Hawaiian Gathering Rights group. And I just wanted to come on and say that I've been out of touch lately because I've been very busy with my ohana, and my son was graduating, and just really busy. But I'm glad I attended today. Tonight, so much good mana'o from everybody. I just wanted to touch on what I think his name is Jacob Akaka said, about get the monk seals. There's so much and whatnot, and like everybody's protecting it and whatnot. I remember attending a meeting. I think we were opposing the fence line that they were putting in over here, and I think that passed. That was with the Molokai Land Trust. And I remember a Department of Interior, one of the Department of Interior employees, like she was literally crying, and she was a Hawaiian, and she was crying about the native birds that she's saying that is going to be affected if the fence is not put in. And and I was real taken aback, because I was like, I love animals. I love everything that God created here on the earth. But to me, I was so taken aback, because I was like, I told her, I said, That's cool that you cry for the birds or whatever, but are you gonna cry for me, the Hawaiian who is getting displaced? Are you gonna cry for the Hawaiians that is getting displaced because we're protecting one bird and not the Hawaiians who eat who eat the things that are being I think they were saying that it's going to affect so much like other things and whatnot. But I'm like, they put so much effort into protecting these animals and whatnot. And I'm like, what about the Hawaiians? Do you cry for us? Do you cry for the Hawaiians who you're affecting? Like the ones that you're limiting to eating the fish, to picking opihi. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what about us? Are you gonna shed those tears when we cannot gather food for our ohana, that we've been doing all this time? And I just think that more effort has to be put in for the people, just like how it is for the Monksio and whatnot. And yes, I agree. My dad always told me that the Monksio, he don't ever remember Monkseos being here. And his mom was born in 1900 now. I have a really old dad. And so he's been around for a while. And he was from Kohala, Hawaii. And so he said that he's never seen it, and they weren't from here. But thank you, everybody. Very good mana'o. Mahalo.
Thank you, Kalehua. Well, that is our vice president for our organization, Kalehua Spook Augusterio. Okay, Sherry, go ahead, wrap it up for us, and then we're gonna end the meeting.
Okay, Kalihua just said turn me in a whole different direction. But anyway, I just wanted to speak to that. So true to also, we believe in our ohana line. Monkseo's never a part of it. They wasn't a part of the Kumulipo, not even. So that's number one. Number two, we got to be careful when we talk about the birds. My Kupuna, he had reason why he was who he was. The name Hulu Hulu is feather. Hulu Hulu Kailimanu. Very dangerous. We had one situation that came up. I was explaining to Kipukai. When they talk about the fence, you put the fence in to save the habitat. You're not saving the habitat, because what happened was it became invasive species grow over our native plants that die. The habitat becomes nothing for that birds that we're trying to protect. They do more harm than they actually do. It's the one perfect management system that we had when we gather from Mauka to Makai, same way from Makai up to Mauka. We had access. We cannot give up our gathering rights. It is in the law. When we talk about the law, which is true, go and look at it. We get from the shoreline all the way to the Apapa, the outermost reef, the Hawaiian get 1 mile more. And that was codified back in Kingdom days. Within that 1 mile, there were 3 different levels of places. Each of them had one name of what you could gather within that 1 mile. That's how smart our Kanaka people was. So we cannot let these guys, and it's not Hawaiian against Hawaiian, it's educating our Hawaiians to fight, because law is there to protect us so we can gather, sustain, and live. You said something which is true, yeah? When we gather for luau and stuff like that, we gather because average 500 people luau for us, 1.5 gallons, 2 gallon opihi enough. That's how we used to gather. But when we gathered for the Kaiaulu, we gathered for the community, because the communities was our family. You either was on Lavaia or you was on Mahiai. And even then, we never sell. We bartered and we gave. You gave me, I gave you. Because our families, same thing. My tutu man, Lavaia, my wahine, Mauka, Waimea Valley. That's my family, the Naumu, Taniguchi side. So that's how we lived. We just lived like that. We existed harmoniously. We had that eco-friendly system. And we cannot be afraid and think, because we're going to teach everybody about the law, we're going to be Kanaka against Kanaka. No, Kanaka's got to rise up and they got to know what laws protect them to exist because if we don't talk about these laws, this is what going to suppress us as a people. And then only going to get few of you folks that's they're trying to carry on and get kuleana for the majority. Because I can tell you, a lot of our people that sit in these offices that make the decisions for us keep doing this in a vacuum because they don't know our laws. That's how Robin and us, we went to the state capitol and teach the senators about the Hawaiian Homestead Act because they had no idea. It was pathetic, but they had no idea. So if it wasn't for her and the few others, Auntie Liberta, us, you know, certain ones of us that we went there and we taught them. And they asked us baby questions because they knew no better. So we cannot blame them also for making this kind of decisions if they don't know the law. But if we get the law, we got to exploit that law to protect us. That's all I want to say. And thank you so much for hosting this, Palala. I'm following you.
Okay. Thank you, Sherry. Yes, so important. There is a law that protects us, but you know, it is possible for us to give up our rights, yeah, out of fear. And that's the whole message that I trying to share is to help educate regarding the ocean is sustainable. It is sustainable. And we need to perpetuate that part and share that so that out of fear, our people don't give up their rights and then also encourage others to give up theirs. So I think at this time, again, mahalo everybody for participating. All of the comments that were shared. I do look forward to working with other organizations and pursuing this. So petition and blanket testimony is going to be coming out. That I don't believe it happened yet, but we're working on that. And then we need all of you guys' help to help spread that petition and that blanket testimony and to get it in. And again, email, call your land board representative, let them know this is not Pono, you guys oppose, why? And also call your state representatives, let them know too. Okay, gonna turn the time back over to Sybil. Mahalo.
Mahalo Kaikina. Mahalo everyone for joining us tonight. And yes, let's all educate ourselves. And mahalo everyone. And thank you for being here beyond our 7 p.m. time. Kaikina, can you close us? Mahalo.
Okay, I'm gonna give one pulley. Our Father in heaven, we bow our heads in prayer, so grateful for all the many blessings that was given unto us. We thank thee for this opportunity which we have to meet together as community members and statewide. We pray to please continue to bless, guide, and direct us in the decisions in which we make, that we may do our best to stand up for what we believe is true and to avoid contention the best that we can and to be respectful of others in our community with differences. And this is our prayer we ask thee for in the name of thy son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Mahalo. Mahalo, everyone.
Mahalo,
Happy evening.
Aka.
Mahalo, Sister Sherry. Nice to hear from you again.
I know. Take care. Huh?
You too.
All right. We go.
Thank you, everybody.
Mahalo.
Bye.
Ohiho.
Iho, Sybil. And
Mahalo, Auntie Donna.
I got my son who's a fisherman. He sat in on the meeting. He's going to hook up one from Kenai and himself. Mahalo. Thank you.
Also, email the Native Hawaiian gathering rates.
Copy, Raja. Thank you.